maybe this is the time for you to tell your cardio story. I mean, I love your cardio story.
This story is not like this, grand story with some amazing conclusion, but what it did at the end was life-changing for me. So let me just tell you this real quick. When I was a kid, I was always athletic, wanted to play all the sports, everything else. However, I was, in football practice, the last guy finishing the laps. I literally had no cardio capacity as a young child. Or I should say, I didn't have the genetic ability to just be a natural cardio athlete. So that had a big impact on me from the time I was, I'm going to say 7 to, 15 years old playing sports. And that left me with the view of myself that I can't do cardio. Russell, I never ran a mile in my life. Right. And when I went into the bodybuilding arena and when my coach told me how much cardio I had to do, I said, whoa, David. I said, hey, I'm not a cardio guy. And as a matter of fact, I don't know why, but I literally, can't do cardio. I mean, 10 minutes, can't breathe. And he just laughed at me, of course. And he said, yeah, you're going to do it. And he put me on a slow ramp up program. And after the first couple of weeks, and I'm doing 10 minutes on the stepper, and I'm like barely able to walk out of the gym. I'm huffing and puffing. And then he moves it to 15 minutes, 20 minutes. And all of a sudden, I'm at like 35 minutes. It felt great. The bottom line is that next thing I know, 3 months into this thing, I'm like doing an hour of, 700 calorie burn, which is a pretty quick pace on the step mill. The lesson I learned was, and by the way, I was in my 50s when this happened, right? I had been lying to myself for 50 years about this issue. The reality of it was I didn't have the right training. I didn't push it hard enough. I didn't work hard enough to get to where I needed to be. But here's the lesson. The lesson is, it dawned on me, what else have I been lying to myself about for 50 years? And that question changed my life. When you draw a conclusion about yourself, ask yourself, well, why do I think that? What made me become so convinced that that's something about me? Because it's probably not true.